Well, breaking news coming in. It's a headlines today exclusive. Ashok Khemka, the 1991 batch IAS officer from Haryana, who took on the son-in-law of the Gandhi family, has in fact, he has in fact been rewarded with a position. Remember, Ashok Khemka had facilitated the cancellation of land deals between Robert Vadra and DLF. He had said that he had in fact exposed the central government at that point in time. Now recently the cabinet secretary made a recommendation to the Prime Minister's office for transferring Ashok Khemka from Haryana to the central government. The Prime Minister's office also has more or less agreed to giving the position to Ashok Khemka at the centre. Ashok Khemka was recently charge-sheeted by the Haryana government, where it was alleged that Khemka went beyond his jurisdiction to cancel the land deal between DLF and Robert Vadra. The charge sheet had also said that Khemka tried to defame Robert Vadra. Now, on the other hand, Khemka has been maintaining that the state government has been targeting him as he exposed the corruption on land deals of Robert Vadra. Khemka has been transferred 49 times in his career in the last 20 years. Breaking this exclusive piece of information here on Headlines Today is my colleague Ashish Mehershi. Ashish, Khemka being rewarded for taking on the Gandhi son-in-law. Take us through what the latest is.
Well, very clearly, Rishika, that Ashok Khemka is the man who took on Robert Vadra and the land deal. If you remember the DLF Robert Vadra land deal, where he had alleged that all irregularities were there, and he cancelled that mutation copies. Right. So certainly, he was in the eye of the storm of. He was targeted by the Haryana government. He was transferred 49 times. But now, as a reward, to take on the Gandhi family, he is, there is a note which has been moved from the Civil Services Board, which is headed by the Cabinet Secretary. The note has gone to the Prime Minister's office, to Nripen Mishra, and more or less he is going to get a deputation position in the central government. So he is going to be removed from Haryana government and brought to the centre.
Right. What is exactly, the plan for Ashok Khemka at this point in time? Remember, he has also been at loggerheads with the state government on more than one occasion. What is the plan that the centre has for him?
Well, if you see the note, the copy of the note that is in the position of Headlines Today, this is, it is an exclusivity with us. This note very clearly says that the charge sheet that has been served on him by the Haryana government does not hold merit. So that is the big thing that the Civil Services Board has found out, that whatever the charge sheet has been served is actually not the right thing, and he has always been holding an outstanding CSR. So certainly, his confidential report has been very positive. So certainly, he's going to get a central position, or he's going to come on deputation. Obviously, he's being brought down because in Haryana we know there is a Congress government, right, and now we have the NDA government at the centre. But certainly, a big reward for him for taking on the Gandhi.
Well, absolutely, it does appear to be a big reward for Ashok Khemka, the whistleblower, the IAS officer who in fact took on, the Gandhi family's son-in-law, Robert Vadra, questioning many of those land deals between Robert Vadra and DLF. He has been at loggerheads with the state government, which is the Congress government in Haryana. And clearly, Ashish, in more ways than one, Ashok Khemka here being rewarded by the BJP government.
Very true. In fact, if you see, there have been a number of inquiries against Ashok Khemka in the state of Haryana. Now, recently, there was a case that was registered where he, it was being alleged that, Ashok Khemka was involved into some corruption case into the warehousing corporation. Now, the Haryana government had, instituted a number of inquiries against him, and one inquiry in which he was charge-sheeted, it very clearly said that, he had brought defame to the son-in-law of Sonia Gandhi, Robert Vadra. Right. But now, as you see, the Civil Services Board, in its note, very clearly said that the charge sheet does not hold merit, and his confidential report, which is very important for any IAS officer, is outstanding throughout. Right. But at the same time, we have to see, he has been fighting against corruption 49 times in 20 years. His career is around 21, 22 years old. And in those periods, he has been transferred 49 times. At the same time, it is not only a reward, but at the same time, you see, Rishika, that the state, the central government, which has said they will fight against corruption, actually brings out a good picture for them as well, because Ashok Khemka will come into the center. So they are trying to promote an officer who is actually outstanding and fighting against corruption.
Well,
so
absolutely, the anti-corruption crusader, in fact, finding a place in the central bureaucracy. Manaman Singh China is also joining me live at this point in time. Former Ashish, stay on with us. Manaman, has there been any response from Ashok Khemka so far? Have you been in touch with him?
Well, Ashok Khemka has not so far confirmed anything on this account. He says he would rather wait for some official communication to be received either from the state government or for the centre regarding his deputation. But yes, as Ashish has been pointing out, he has been hounded not only by the present government, Hooda government in Haryana, but also by the previous INLD government in the state. Where he was deputy commissioner, his car was taken away and he had to cycle to his office. So Ashok Khemka has always been on the wrong side of the politicians because he has always believed in doing the right thing.
Well, he's been on the wrong side of the politicians, and his image as an anti-corruption crusader is definitely going to be a huge boost for the PMO to get to the centre. The government recently, remember, the cabinet secretary had made a recommendation to the Prime Minister's office for transferring Khemka from the Haryana to the central government. The Prime Minister's office has also more or less agreed for giving a position to Ashok Khemka at the centre at this point in time. Ashish Maharshi is still live with us. Ashish, what is this position likely to be? Is there any clarity on that so far?
Well, as of now, he's a joint secretary level officer. Now, if you go through the note, it very clearly says that, the Civil Services Board, which is under the DOPT and actually headed by the cabinet secretary, it very clearly says that, that they have more or less agreed for a joint secretary level position. So which department he gets, the file has gone to the Prime Minister office to the principal secretary, and it is very likely that he gets a nod today itself. This is what our sources have confirmed, that he might get a nod today itself, and there might be a communication from the centre to the state to relieve him and send him on deputation to the central government.
Right, Ashish Maharshi bringing us those exclusive details. So even before this information has in fact officially been communicated to Ashok Khemka, which we understand is likely to happen today, we're breaking this information to you first and exclusive here on Headlines Today. Ashok Khemka, remember, was recently charge-sheeted by the Haryana government, where it was alleged that Khemka went beyond his jurisdiction to cancel the land deals between DLF and Robert Vadra. Clearly, Ashish, the political colour behind this entire move cannot be ignored. Ashok Khemka was also at a given point in time being wooed by the Aam Aadmi Party, where Arvind Kejriwal had in fact invited him, to leave his current position and join the anti-corruption fight of the Aam Aadmi Party. And clearly now the BJP going ahead and rewarding Ashok Khemka with a plum position in the central administration for his action against Robert Vadra. So the political colour behind all of this definitely cannot be ignored.
Very true. In fact, Rishika, if I correctly remember, there was a press release as well from the Aam Aadmi Party, and they very clearly said that, Mr. Khemka should quit, he should come over. They were ready to give him a ticket as well. But if I remember, Mr. Khemka had actually refused. He said that he will enter into politics only after the age of 60. And this is, he said at that point of time in one of the interviews as well. But at the same time, he had taken on Robert Vadra. He had cancelled those deals. The Haryana government had said that he had gone beyond his jurisdiction because he should not have cancelled those deals. There was action against him. A charge sheet was served on him. But at the end of the day, a big thing for him, for the reason that since the central, there is no UPA government or the Congress government at the centre, and now the NDA government is at the centre. So the political colour, as you said, it cannot be denied. And getting him at the centre is certainly going to be a issue of debate as of now, because the Haryana government is going to say that we have served a charge sheet, there are corruption charges against him. But at the end of the day, it is the Civil Services Board under which all IS officers come, which is headed by the cabinet secretary, and he has more or less been given a deputation position at the centre now.
Well, absolutely. So we can expect to be some fireworks between the state government in Haryana, which is a Congress-led government, and of course the central government, because Khemka, remember, has been at loggerheads with the state government. He has been maintaining that the state government has been targeting him as he exposed the corruption in land deals of Robert Vadra. He's been transferred 49 times in his career in just the past 20 years, Ashish. So clearly we can expect to see, the state government perhaps raise a lot of questions and perhaps even launch a protest against this move, Ashish.
Very true. In fact, the state government, there are 2-3 very important issues, Rishika, if I correctly remember.
Right.
There is one case where they said that, he was involved into corruption in central, in the warehousing corporation, which is the state government warehousing, where he was involved into some corruption cases.
Right.
That is what the state government had alleged. But he had filed a point-by-point rebuttal on that issue as well. But as of now, as we remember, as you know, Ashok Khemka has been at loggerheads with the state government.
Right, Ashish, hold that thought. I have with me social activist Harsh Mandar on the phone line at this point in time. Harsh, just like to bring in a word from you. What do you make, of this development of Ashok Khemka, in fact, being transferred to the central administration despite being at loggerheads with the Congress-led state government?
No, I welcome it. There's Ashok Khemka is become well known. He's symbolic of actually a number of unsung heroes within the civil service who stood up to political pressures and respective state governments. And the nature of the IAS was supposed to be, central and state governments that some degree of protection to an officer who is being unfairly victimized.
Right.
And it's a pity that it's caught up in the politics. It's now seen as a BJP government versus Congress government. But I think that IAS also should not be politicized, but should be protected when they stand up for the right issue. And in that spirit, I welcome Khemka's transfer here.
Right, I'd also like to bring in a word from you, on the fact that Khemka has been transferred 49 times in his career in the last 20 years. You've been in the services and you obviously understand the pressures that are associated with the job, the political pressures that are associated with the job. Just a word in from you on what you make of Khemka's journey, given the fact that he has not just resisted, the pressures that the career comes with, but also protested against them. He's been a whistleblower and has stood up against them.
Yes. No, I think that's wonderful. I mean, I know the pain of transfers. I had also 22 transfers in 17 years.
Right.
And it's really painful because you invest yourself. I mean, apart from the disruption to the family, and my daughter changed 11 schools in 8 years.
Right.
Till class 8. Those disruptions are there. Emotionally also, you go to a place, you dream, you start working, and everything gets held up. You're moved out in 3 months, 6 months. I think that we have to think of a larger system of protecting upright civil servants.
Right.
But there's also the reality of the large majority of civil servants now becoming more and more abjectly politicized.
Absolutely.
And that reality.
And which is why, Mr. Mandar, the political color to this entire move also cannot be ignored, because while Ashok Khemka is undoubtedly, an honest officer, he has actually risen to fame for, in fact, cancelling the mutation of well-known Robert Vadra, and that's really why he came, to the forefront of this anti-corruption debate. So clearly, the political color behind this move also cannot be completely ignored.
That's true, and it is a BJP government which is now giving him some protection. I mean, I think that is perhaps unavoidable. I know Ashok and a little bit,
right?
And I am quite sure that he's not done this with any kind of political intent, and that is why I welcome his protection.
Well, Harsh Mandar, thank you so much for speaking with Headlines today. Clearly a move that is being welcomed by civil society at large. Ashish Maharshi, my colleague, thanks for joining us with this first and exclusive news break here on Headlines today. Ashok Khemka, who's been transferred 49 times in his career in the last 20 years, has been at loggerheads with the state government in Haryana. He's best known for his honest duty and also for cancelling the mutation of well-known Sonia Gandhi's son-in-law Robert Vadra. and his illegal land deals with DLF, all likely to get a plum position in the central administration. We're going to continue to track developments on this huge story here on Headlines Today. Remember, first and exclusive details of that transfer. You heard it here first on Headlines Today. We're going to continue to track developments. We're slipping into a very short break here at this point in time. Back with all the political top stories in 2 minutes. We're staying with the Headlines Today exclusive story that we've broken to you first here on Headlines Today. Ashok Khemka, the 1991 batch IAS officer from Haryana who took on the son-in-law of Sonia Gandhi and cancelled the land deals between Robert Vadra and the DLF, will soon be in the central government. Well, recently the Cabinet Secretary made a recommendation to the Prime Minister's office for transferring Khemka from Haryana to the central government. The Prime Minister's office has also more or less agreed for giving a position to Ashok Khemka at the centre. Now, Ashok Khemka was recently charge-sheeted by the Haryana government, where it was alleged that Khemka went beyond his jurisdiction to cancel the land deals between DLF and Robert Vadra. The charge sheet had also said that Khemka tried to defame Robert Vadra, and on the other hand, Khemka has been maintaining that the state government in Haryana, which is the Congress-led government, remember, has been targeting him as he exposed the corruption in land deals of Robert Vadra. Khemka has been transferred 49 times in his career in the last 20 years. My colleague Ashish Mehershi, breaking this exclusive piece of information to us, is now joining us live for more on this story. Ashish, Prime Minister's office likely to give that nod anytime today for Khemka's transfer to the central administration.
Very true. In fact, you know, the note, the copy of the note that we have, this note is of the Central Civil Services Board, which is headed by the Cabinet Secretary, and it also has a member of, the Secretary Department of Personnel and Training. Now, my sources very clearly say, Rishika, that this is a reward for taking on the Gandhi Parivar, and we know that how Robert Vadra land deals with DLF was cancelled by, the mutation was cancelled by Mr. Khemka when he was occupying that position. Now we know that the entire thing has happened, but as of now, the note very clearly has gone to the Prime Minister office. It has gone to the Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister, and a nod which is sending him to the bringing him to the central on deputation. This is likely to happen today itself. So a big reward for him for taking on the Gandhi Parivar. As we know, the political color to the entire thing, we know that the charge sheet was served because he took on the land deals, and it very clearly said that the Rishika, if you remember, the charge sheet had clearly said that this the entire thing which the entire action that Mr. Khemka took brought disrepute and defame Robert Vadra. So certainly this is going to be a centre versus the state again. We know at the state we have
absolutely. This is a move that is definitely going to become a centre versus state issue again. Ashish Mehershi breaking that piece of information to us first and exclusive here on Headlines Today.